Matthew Berry is here, and he is here to give us as fast as he can, as much fantasy information as he can, and I have promised him that if he makes himself available for us throughout this season, I will indeed partake in all things fantasy by the end of the season, and I will become somebody. What are you making faces about?
That's not how fantasy works. You don't just decide I want to be part of a fantasy league the last week of the season.
I'm gonna commit after I get look. I don't.
Is this for next season?
I don't think that you guys understand how little I trust any of you to actually commit to anything. When I say something, I mean it, and so I am promising that if Matthew Berry does indeed give our audience this information that it craves in condensed form, that I will participate in fantasy in a way our audience enjoys and feels after this season.
Okay. Dan Le Batard, how dare you? Question my commitment. I am suffering through this punishment that you have put me through because a random football team lost.
I am suffering through having to pay Udonis Haslem too much money to enforce rules around here because you guys do not respect the rules or respect anything. I can't get my father to do anything. Tony just left the show chasing my father.
I paid this thing off super quick.
No, you guys are terrible. You don't respect anything.
You should have joined our guillotine league. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, mostly they don't respect me.
I would enjoy guillotining just about all of you. I would.
Rough week for Roy. He was chopped last week.
I'm sorry, Roy. Did you have Green Bay?
I had Jordan Love as a quarterback, but we don't have teams.
That's not how it works.
That's not how it works. You
anything.
fool! You fool!
Silly boy. Did you have Green Bay?
Did you think it was a Survivor League?
Yeah,
oh my
that's
goodness.
what I thought.
And this guy's talking tough to us, questioning our commitment.
Forgive me for thinking a guillotine league and a survivor league were the same thing. Both of them sound a bit ominous. There are life or death circumstances in both names to the leagues. Forgive me for thinking they were synonyms.
Well, now I'm dead.
Matthew Berry, we have an open for you. We have gotten around to making an open for you. Thank you for making the time for us. We know that you are very busy, so let's give him his open, please.
Matthew Berry. Matthew Berry. Matthew Berry. Matthew Berry!
He is our fantasy guru. He knows a lot more than most people. Obviously, if I don't know the difference between a guillotine league and a survivor league, I know next to nothing about what we're talking about. What is Cam Newton wearing right now on television? A bow tie with that hat? What are the studs in his hat? Matthew Berry, get us started here.
All right, the Las Vegas Raiders, top 5 in the NFL in terms of most receptions allowed on deep passes. Oh, by the way, this weekend they play Caleb Williams of the Bears. Caleb Williams is top 3 in the NFL in deep ball rate. Percentage of passes, obviously, that go at least 15 air yards. So a team that's bad against defending the deep ball has to play a quarterback that's really good at throwing it. Other side of that matchup, by the way, the Bears are also bottom 5 in the NFL in touchdown rate. They're bottom 5 in yards per pass attempt allowed. And so far this year, Geno Smith is actually top 8 in the NFL in pass attempts per game. It's a 47.5 over-under. I'll take the over. I think a lot of offense in the Raiders-Bears game randomly. In every single game this year, the Broncos have allowed at least 89 rushing yards from scrimmage to an opposing running back. They face the Bengals this week. This is the week Chase Brown gets up the schneid. He's got 83% of the Bengals running back touches. By the way, he also has a 12% target share in the year. They're using him in the passing game. Broncos allow the 7th most receiving yards to opposing running backs. Last week, on the Denver side of the ball, J.K. Dobbins had a 85% running back rush share. Bengals have allowed at least 125 rushing yards to opposing running backs in back-to-back games. It's a J.K. Dobbins week. Omarion Hampton last week got a ton of usage, and this week has an unbelievable matchup. He had a utilization score of 96. It's a scale of 1 to 100 on how much a running back is used or any player is used in data that projects fantasy points. Anytime you score over a 90, you earn RB1. He's locked in as a top 5 fantasy football running back in every single game this year. No matter who the quarterback is, Garrett Wilson has had at least a 37% target share. Dolphins have allowed a touchdown to a wide receiver in every single game this year. No wide receivers throughout this year has gotten more targets than Chris Olave of the Saints. He's got a 32% target share. And oh, by the way, he's a 16-point underdog to the Bills this weekend. Let's see. Last weekend, Matthew Golden had an 84% route participation. He had 77% of the Packers' air yards. It hasn't worked out for him yet, but this is the week that he goes off against the Cowboys defense that has allowed more yards and touchdowns and deep passes than any team in the NFL. no team has allowed more yards to opposing tight ends than Carolina Panthers. It's another Hunter Henry week for the Patriots.
Excellent as always. How are you doing so far with your information? How successful have you been this season? How does this season feel? Because the early parts of a season can be hard to figure out what is actually happening, right?
Yeah, I mean, overall, pretty good. I think, look, have I hit everything? I have not. My big ride or die, Omari and Hampton, had a big week last week, so I just mentioned him. He's my one player that I sort of planted a flag on and said, this is my ride or die. He was going about running back. He was going about 30th, I think, inside the top 30 overall. And he was a top 5 fantasy running back last week. So obviously been helped a little bit. There was an injury to his teammate Najee Harris. Opens up more playing time for him, but he looked the part. He had a huge production. I think he has another big week. So that's been really good. A lot of the picks have gone well. One pick that I got wrong, which is sort of what you're asking, is James Cook. My concern in the preseason was last year James Cook played less than 50% of the snaps, wasn't involved in the passing game, and was just scoring touchdowns at a really high rate. So the argument was, well, there's just no way James Cook can keep this insane touchdown rate up if he's not getting a ton of usage, either on the ground or in the passing game. And yet he has. He's playing less than 60% of the snaps this year for the Bills. He's playing less than 60% of the snaps. He's got an under 15% target share. He's just, he's not a heavy part of the passing game for the Bills, and yet he's scoring every week. The Bills probably have the easiest schedule in the NFL. They're blowing teams out, and when they're getting in close, they are giving it to James Cook. So Cook's a top 3 fantasy running back, and so it's one of those weird things where I was completely right about all the reasons why he shouldn't be picked high, but yet he still is because he's getting just insane touchdown usage.
Worthy's coming back for Kansas City. Do you expect their offense to look any different?
Yeah, I think it'll look a little bit better. Mahomes just hasn't looked Mahomesian, especially on those deep passes. They found a little something with Tyquan Thornton, but I think having Xavier Worthy, who developed more of a connection with last season, it's certainly just, look, getting a good player back for that offense is going to be helpful. They're out there with again, Tyquan Thornton had a nice game on Sunday, but like it's Tyquan Thornton and Hollywood Brown, so I do think it will help the offense, just especially the deep passing of Mahomes, which has seemed off this year.
Tell the people where they find everything it is that you're doing, because as I mentioned, his fantasy information is wildly valuable. People really do appreciate it, and he will make your team better and make you more informed. Where do they find you on all the things you want to be found on?
Well, Fantasy Football Happy Hour is my show every single day. We follow you guys on Peacock. We're on at 5 o'clock on Peacock. We're also live at noon on YouTube, so you can check it out. You can also see it on demand on YouTube, Peacock, wherever you get your podcast. Fantasy Football pregame, Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern on YouTube and Peacock. We get you ready for all the games. We answer more questions than any other pregame show. And you can go to fantasylife.com and get a free newsletter from me and some of my friends. We send it a free 5-minute read. It's easy. It's free newsletter that gets you everything you need to know about fantasy football for that day. And, listen, it's a free newsletter. If you hate it, just unsubscribe. But you go to fantasylife.com and check all that out.
Appreciate the time, Matthew. Thank you, sir.
Matthew, real quick,
Dan,
before you
thank
go,
Yes,
Club
sir.
Set open this week?
Yes, Club Set is open this week. Club Set's always open, but especially this week. He's their number 1 wide receiver. I don't know why people keep ranking Jerry Jeudy over him. Cedric Tillman. Club Set, always open.
Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate the time, sir.